What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome to episode number 22 of the Fanboys Anonymous group meeting podcast, of course, presented to you by fanboysanonymous.com. I'm your host, Tony Mango, and joining me on the panel for this episode, I've got with me Chris the Days Man Dace.
Hey.
Kaylin Ferris.
What's happening?
And Stephen Wago.
Yeah, I'm here.
This meeting's officially been called to order. What we're going to talk about for this episode is going to be a three-parter, a couple different topics that are meshed in between those three different parts, but basically it revolves around, do you go to the movies or not? And it's not necessarily just on, do you watch movies? Because we all, in some capacity watch movies, but do you go to the movies? Movie theaters have been getting a lot of different press lately for a couple different reasons, and going to break some of them down here. First part, we're going to be talking about prices. Second part, we're going to be talking about different movie screen formats. Third part, we're going to talk about, unfortunately, some of the bad things going on with mass shootings that are happening in movie theaters. Crazy fucking people out there. And not just the shooters, but the people that want to charge the money for this kind of stuff. So let's get right into this. Movie theater ticket prices and snack prices and stuff. In general, let's just, keep this pretty simple at first. Do you guys think that it costs too much money to go to the movies now?
Yes.
The actual ticket prices depends on where you go, but regardless of when you're eating there, it's really expensive.
There used to be a time where I would remember that I could go to the movies and spend, I don't know, maybe $11 and get popcorn and a movie ticket. And AMC is the closest movie theater to Dace and I. And we used to have two AMCs actually. So I was a part of the Movie Watcher program that they had, like their rewards program and stuff. And that used to give you some pretty damn good things. Like you'd get a free small popcorn every once in a while. By the 5th or the 6th or something like that movie ticket that you scanned, you might get a free movie ticket. So it was pretty doable. Now, holy fuck, man, I buy tickets for multiple people before we go ahead of time because we have assigned seating. If 4 people go, I'm plunking out $150 almost.
Yeah, plus the rewards program these days suck. You get $10 after 10 movies, and then it expires in 30 days. So good luck.
Yeah, it's the AMC Stubs program, and I, for the longest time, didn't have that, and I was just like, you know what, why should I pay to be on a rewards program? That's ridiculous.
I'm not familiar with this program. What are the details on that one?
You pay, I think it's $12 per year, and the amount of money that you spend on movie tickets or on concessions goes towards $100 limit thing. And
okay, so the way it works is for every $10 that you spend, for every $100 that you spend, you get a $10 reward.
Yeah.
And
minus
as far
the
as your
$12.
beverages and your soda go, you get a free size upgrade. So you get a large, but you pay for a medium price.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a cap on the rewards because you can only get an X amount of points, and then it just stops accruing. It's weird.
Really?
That's why I just stopped doing it.
And you have to pay to enroll in this?
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that there was actually a cap
membership.
On it. So how much do you actually have to spend until it actually pays off?
You have to spend $112 to get $10 back. Unless the $12 counts towards the 100, I don't know about that.
Yeah, because the membership's 12, right?
Yeah. Or at least it was when I paid for it last year. But I mean, I did it this year because a friend of ours works at the movie theaters, and I was just talking to him when I was buying the movie tickets, and he was just like, you want to sign up for Stubs? And I'm like, no, fucking Movie Watcher was so much better. It was free and shit. And he's like, yeah, but you're buying 12 tickets, so you're already past that $100 mark. I'm like, yeah, all right, well, if I do that and I already get the $10 back, it's fine. And that's the only reason why I have it now is because I'm the guy that buys all those tickets ahead of time. And for the, a couple friends of mine that don't have it, I'll be like, yo, just use the Stubs thing. You'll get a large popcorn instead of a medium.
That's what you do with me. I'll be right back. Oh, okay. I'm going to just blah, blah, blah. So, extra large. Get that.
Yeah, because it's I don't lose anything, you don't lose anything, both of us gain, why not? But that actually, it pissed me off for the longest time, because it was Movie Watcher, you didn't have to pay anything, and you got stuff back. And, most of it was 50 cents off any combo. Okay. could use that. But it was cool when, like, you just happen to go a couple times of the year, then you get a free movie ticket. And that didn't really expire all that much. That was like a couple of months that you would have before that would expire. And these, I think it's 90 days?
Barely. I really feel like it's a month. Because we hit the movie theater within 90 days, and I feel like every time we go, you still have $10.
Yeah, that's true. I do have $10 on my thing right now.
Yeah, we've seen what, 4 or 5 movies so far this summer, and you've bought all the tickets in advance. So in theory, you should have about $40 to $50 on that rewards program, but you only have 10. So the program just sucks. It's trying to mirror the hotel logic program, but caps you. Like, you can't just keep accruing points.
I'm looking at movie ticket prices right now. Box Office Mojo and the National Association of Theater Owners, they figured out the average ticket price for different things. This is bullshit, I think. Average ticket price right now is $8.12. Now, that factors in everything from the different times of the day and the different versions of the films and stuff like that, so that's why it's a little bit lower. But, man, I remember when we went to see Jurassic World, that was like $15.50 or something.
Yeah, we're considering IMAX for Star Wars Episode 7. Imagine how much that's going to cost.
Oh, IMAX is going to be like $20 or something.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go. I mean, it's fucking
Star Wars.
But we got to get those tickets ahead of time, like way in advance, too.
Probably this week. Or whenever you're listening to this podcast.
If you buy them ahead of time, let me know. I'll give you the money. Anyway,
sure.
Figuring out these plans on the air.
It's Star Wars, people. We're allowed to.
It's important. We need this time. But yeah, it was like $15.50 or $15.25 or something like that. And yeah, we went to see the XD version, and we'll talk about the different versions in the next part and stuff like that. But it was just like, I don't have that much money to be able to plunk down to see all these movies that I want to see. $15 a pop on each one of them. And I'm not the type of person that wants to go in the middle of the day either. Like, I don't like seeing movies during the day. Even if it's a different type of movie where it's like a comedy and you can do that, it bugs me. Like, if I leave the movie theater and it's daylight out, it will throw me off the whole rest of the day.
That is weird. Yeah, the movie ticket prices, as far as I'm concerned, it does keep me from going more often than I might otherwise. Because around here, I think an evening show, just regular during the week, I think is about $10 or so. And then if you go to a matinee, it's like, I don't know, $5 or $6 or something. The next day they have theaters. I don't know if they do this all over the country, but here we're at in Ohio. Tuesday, it's $1 movies all day. Any time of the day. Tuesday sucks. Unfortunately, I work all day Tuesday, or that's when I would go. But, like I remember going when I was in school, and the big high movies were, I don't know, $4 or $5. Then they get into $6. And so one thing that I was really liking when they did the dollar movie theaters, they were cinema up, and they would have all of the...
Seems like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, am I sounding really terrible?
Yeah, you're breaking up quite a bit. I think it might be on my end, but I don't know for sure. But we're kind of catching every other word that you're saying almost.
Sorry, yeah, because Dace was breaking up for me. I guess we're on break right now. Dace was breaking up for me, but Tony, you sound clear to me, so I'm not...
Nah, we're still going. I'm not editing this.
Okay, great.
I'm pretty sure it's on my end, and you can blame Comcast for that, everybody. Sorry about that. I can't fix it because they're dumb. But hopefully it'll keep us going like we're doing. Right now we seem to be fine, but I apologize in advance. But what were you saying, Kayla? Like, Tuesdays are cheaper, but you can't go because that's when you're working, so...
Right, yeah, Tuesday's a cheap day. But I miss the days when we used to have a lot of theaters in my city. And these days, there's only like 3 major ones. We used to have a dozen different theaters. And what I liked is when they had what was called super cinemas. And it was still first run stuff, but it was after it had been out a month or so. They would move from the main theater, like at the mall, and they would move to this other theater, like in this one shopping complex. And they'd have 20 different theaters, and it was $1. And, there was movies that were like 4 to 6 weeks old. But still, they hadn't come out on DVD yet or anything like that. So it was still newer movies. So that I would often wait, a month and then go see something for $1 rather than paying the full price. And now that it's, 10, $15, that's one of the reasons why I only see movies like once a year, really. This year, all I've seen was The Avengers, and I'm going to see Star Wars. And other than that, I don't really see anything that I'm thinking is going to be worth my time to put down my hard-earned money and actually drive out there and deal with the fucking crowds. But, it's not a matter of not being able to afford it because, as an adult now, I have more disposable income than when I was a child. But it's relatively, never seems, very rarely do I go and put down my money and go see a movie and say, hey, that was worth my time and money. Very rarely does that happen.
Just for a little bit of comparison here, $8.12 is that average ticket price of what they say. Going back to 2010, that was $7.89. 2005, $6.41. 2000's $5.39. 1995 is $4.35. So it basically increases every 5 years like $1. And that doesn't seem like it might be too much, but you got to think every 5 years it's another dollar, another dollar, another dollar. And that $8.12 or $8.17 actually is what it was last year. It went down a little bit. That $8 is not the ticket price of what like you go on the opening night and stuff like that. And if you're part of the people that like to go in the middle of the day, or like if you can take advantage of like a different show that you wait a little bit and it's a little bit cheaper and that kind of stuff, then you save a little bit of money. But then you're also having to deal with like if anybody spoiled it for you ahead of time, and somebody like myself, like I got to put these movie reviews up as soon as possible. I got to go like the first show or the first day, and I'm rushing to get it up immediately afterward. So I can't take advantage of that kind of stuff that often. And actually, I'm looking at the price of tickets now. 1910. Of course, that's a huge difference in time, but it was 7 cents.
Yeah, I waited on Nickelodeon, so it was only 5 cents.
Well, even down to like the 70s, it was only like $2-3. Actually, it didn't even reach the $3 mark until 1983. So it took them 70 years to go up to $3, and it's going up $1 every 5 years now. That's kind of crazy. And when it comes to popcorn and fucking concession stand stuff, the average price of popcorn right now is $8.15 for a large, and it costs them 90 cents to make.
Fuck them.
That's an 806% markup.
That's one of the reasons I don't feel guilty at all about sneaking shit in.
Hell no. Large soda, $6.31, cost is 51 cents, including the cup, the lid, and the straw. That's a 593% markup. The candy is $4.25. The cost is $2, 104% markup. Like, we're losing so much money. We don't have an extra 700% markup.
So this is my advice to everybody. If you have a large winter coat or a friend who's carrying a purse, go to the convenience store or grocery store before you hit the movie theater, load up with all the candy for real cheap and pop and 20 ounces and sneak that in and fuck paying that bullshit high price.
That's what I do typically. Personally, I don't find the movie ticket prices too high when they're under the $10 mark. If it gets anywhere past that, then I'm a bit unhappy about it. But it's always the concessions what fuck me over, so that's what you need to be careful of the most if you're going out. And you can literally end up with, I think, what is it? Me and Jonah got 2 sodas and a popcorn not too long ago, and it could have swore like I had to part with $30.
Yeah, for just the popcorn, right?
No, it was...
And they give you the kind of like incentives where they say, well, it's free refills for this and whatever like that, but it's like, I don't want to leave in the middle of a fucking movie. And at the end of the movie, afterward, then, what am I going to do? Like, grab the popcorn, fill it back up, and sit in the car and eat it? It's kind of awkward.
I've taken a full popcorn out before. Fuck yeah, I paid for it.
Oh, I've done it before, but it never ends up getting eaten.
Like, it and throw it away in front of them and just go, because I can. Bob Kelso style.
I think the last time I took popcorn out of the movies and it got put to good use was the Ritz movie theater, which is like a better movie theater than the AMC that we have. But the popcorn's even better too and all that. And I was just like, I'm going to take this home because this popcorn's fucking great. But on the way back, there's this one area, Daisy would know what I'm talking about, but of course the listeners wouldn't. But there's one area where there's this nice hill and there's a lot of ducks that are there quite often. And there was this big duck crossing that happened, and I had to, like, stop the car and whatever. And I just started tossing popcorn out to them, and I was just like, oh, these ducks are, like, loving the fucking popcorn. It's a better use of my fucking money than, like, me to just sit home and eat this and wallow in self-pity afterward. But, like, you can't really, like, maximize your amount of money that you go for the movies. Like, you plunk down the money, you've got 2 hours of entertainment, and it's done. Especially somebody like me, I eat the popcorn before the fucking trailers are over for the most part.
Yeah, and then your mouth hurts because it's all salty and stingy and numb.
Yeah, then you are like, oh, I wish I would have gotten something to drink, but that's another mortgage on my house. But I'm looking at my list of movies right now. I had written down 22 movies that I wanted to see this year in theaters. I've seen 6 of them. And there's a couple that are coming out that I know for sure I'm going to see. But really, if I'm looking at the list, there's only 2 that I know that I'm going to see at the for the rest of the year, and that's Spectre and Star Wars. Spectre, of course, because I'm a huge Bond fan. Star Wars, of course, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. But even, like, Fantastic Four, I'm going to watch that shit.
I refuse to pay for that.
No, I'm not going to go see Fantastic Four.
Like, the bad reviews I've been hearing and everything that is, like, $15 to watch this? Like, I can't even seem to justify the $6 middle of the day price to watch this crap. Do you guys tend to download things afterward? Or do you, like, not watch the movies in general? Or, like, what's your philosophy when it comes to this? Is it would you rather spend $5 to sit at home and download it, like Redbox it or something like that? I think that's like what Redbox is, the price, right? Like $5?
It depends on what service you're using. I've never used Redbox, but a lot of places will actually get movies to stream pretty close to the release date now. So I tend to do that if it's a movie that I'm not dying to see. Whereas before, when movies were a little cheaper, I might have actually gone out and made the trip.
What's usually the factor that makes you guys go, you know what, I have to just see this movie, I'll pay the extra amount?
If Star Wars is in the title.
Or Marvel.
You see, I am not a big movie guy at all, so it takes a lot to convince me to go out. So unless I've got a lot of people in my ear telling me a film was fantastic, or it's just got outstanding reviews, or it's a part of a series I like, I don't take the effort to go and see anything. And because of that, I'm probably restricting myself from seeing a lot of good movies, but it's just not worth the price of admission.
Well, you could always watch them, later on. That's the thing. That's the good thing about movies. It's not like Disney World where you can't be like, well, it's expensive to go to Disney World, but we can catch Disney World later. Like,
See, and one of the... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say... I'll go. One of the things... Also, that I don't like about the theater, besides, the price difference, it's nice seeing it first run before it comes out on DVD and stuff. But I don't like dealing with the crowds. If I could rent out the whole theater for a reasonable price, I would do that just so I don't have to deal with the other idiots in the theater.
Really? I love that.
No.
It was awkward going to see that Dragon Ball Z movie with a bunch of those fans in the theater. They're a different breed.
I liked when I love the movie theater crowd. I prefer that more than anything, because I love when, like, in Jurassic World, when the T-Rex shows up and everybody starts clapping and stuff. And comedies seem more funny when people are laughing, unless you've got like some weird person with a weird laugh. Like when I went to go see the Simpsons movie, which I did not like. I wasn't laughing like at all throughout the entire movie, except for when this one woman was laughing, because she was just kind of like kind of a laugh, and I was just like, is there a fucking Muppet in here? Like, what the hell? But that made it more entertaining to me, because the movie itself sucked, but I could listen to this woman have this terribly stupid laugh and laugh at that. Where, like, when I went to see Grindhouse, there's all these Tarantino fans, and we're all sitting there in the line talking about, like, well, which is better, dogs or pulp? And, like, the Marvel people they gasp when they see Thanos and stuff. But the Dragon Ball Z one, I don't follow Dragon Ball Z, but I got to imagine it's probably like when I went to see the I forget what movie it was, but there was a trailer ahead of time. I know it actually wasn't a movie itself. It wasn't a trailer for it. It was the Transformers movie. Mm-hmm. I used to like Transformers as a kid, but I never was like too big on them.
Oh, I was.
Like, it was kind of like it was like another set of toys to play with, but fuck it, I'm going to watch Batman and Power Rangers and that kind of stuff.
It was interesting because, like, I've watched Battle of the Gods, which was the one before this, and watching it alone in the room, I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I watched this new one, The Resurrection F, because the fans were so into it, they're laughing, they're joining in on the experience, and I thought it was a better experience because I was able to laugh out loud. Because when you do it in your room by yourself watching these movies and you laugh out loud, people wonder about you.
Yeah,
but if you're by yourself.
I actually heard the movie was a letdown from certain people, but I'm glad it's not from your point of view.
I enjoyed it. I'm not a hardcore anime fan, so I'm sure there's things that they would pick apart. There was one thing that I thought was like, that kind of sucked, but I enjoyed it.
So you're saying you're not addicted to anime?
I'm not.
Damn it! I was going to make that joke.
But isn't it cool to watch it when you've got all those like hardcore fans? Because somebody like myself, I am nerdy as fuck when it comes to certain things. Like the beginning of Terminator Genesis, when they started playing the Terminator theme and it was like the sad theme, I literally was like, ah! And when I went to see Skyfall, my girlfriend at the time turned around to me at one point in the movie and she was like, "You've got this giddy fucking look on your face." Because it was just like, they mentioned the fucking pen from GoldenEye, like, And seeing Transformers, I remember there were these two kids in front of me that were a couple years younger than I was, and they were nerding out so much because there was a shot where Optimus Prime takes out a sword, and they were just like, "Oh my god, that fucking sword," and stuff, and I was just kind of like, fucking nerds, and then I'm like, oh shit, I do the same thing for everybody else, like, if Star Wars pops up and I'm going to be sitting there wide-eyed with goosebumps the entire movie, and that's kind of like part of the factor that I work into my ticket price, sort of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like Captain America Winter Soldier, where they just said, "Oh, and Stephen Strange," and we all went, "Oh my god, it's Stephen Strange!" Like, you just said
I don't even like Doctor Strange, and I was still just like, you said it.
I gotta disagree. I have a different opinion, though. No, I can understand where you're coming from and why you get enjoyment out of that. But myself, I don't consider movies really a social experience. Like I'd be, I have gone to the movie theater by myself a couple of times. Because like I know, right? I have no friends. But it's one of those things. Like I saw the first Avengers when that came out in theaters. I saw that a midnight sneak the opening night, very first showing, and it was packed. Every single seat in the place was taken. And there's times when it was cool because people were getting so excited about some things. But then again, people were laughing and shouting and cheering and applauding. And I missed some funny lines, like the puny god or something like that. I had to go see it a second or third time till I heard what he said because people just wouldn't shut the hell up. So in a way, I think that's kind of annoying, but I can see how people can get enjoyment out of that too. Personally, I'd rather just watch it all by myself.
See, Dace and I and a couple other people, we actually spent the money to go see the Avengers Marathon. It's like we've seen and own all these movies except for Avengers, but we're going to spend 12-something hours watching it in the movie theater. And that was so cool because it was like, it was I think like $40 for that ticket or something, if I remember correctly.
Cool lanyard. Duh.
Yeah, we got this like the little lanyard thing, and then we got like, we could all hang out there and eat Subway in the middle of the fucking movie theater because they didn't care because they got $40 for each person and stuff, and everybody kind of had this like group mentality of like, oh, Incredible Hulk's fun. All right, well then we can go, like that kind of a thing. I worked that into there, and I don't know. I kind of think like if they had something like a movie club sort of a thing where like big movie buff fans can go to AMC or Cinemark or the ones around us, and maybe like a discounted price or like a per month kind of price or something like that. I think I would do that. Like, go see some of these other movies. Like, I'm not going to watch Pixels and spend $15 for that. Or Selfless, or Trainwreck, or Straight Outta Compton, or American Ultra's coming out. That looks kind of cool. Even The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Like, these are movies that I kind of want to see, and I'll watch at some point. I'm not spending $15 for each one of these. But, you know, if August they had something that was like, you spend, I don't know, $20 and you can see 5 movies. Shit, Fantastic Four, Man from U.N.C.L.E., Straight Outta Compton, American Ultra, and something else. I'll go watch those, you know, in some kind of like a big movie club sort of thing like that. Like, would you guys be more willing to see movies if there was like a bulk price thing like that?
Weren't they testing that out in Colorado? Like AMC theaters were going to like $35 a month, and you can come see as many movies as you want, like once.
Huh.
It was I remember doing a story on the Daceman show Wednesday nights live on Mega Powers Radio. We were doing a story about it, and they were testing it, I believe, in Colorado or somewhere out in the Midwest. They were doing a membership, $35. You get to go see any movie you want for within a month period. So when we were talking about it, it was also around the time like we had just saw The Hobbit, Horrible Bosses 2. It was like last winter when I had saw 5 movies in the course of 4 weeks. The $35 would have been a hell of a bargain. So yeah, that's definitely something I would invest in.
Yeah, because if you saw those movies at like the top price that you would be, just say that they're $15 a piece or something like that. You saw what, 5 movies?
Yeah, sorry.
That's $75.
Mm-hmm.
So that 35, like, it might seem like, wow, I'm spending $35 to go see movies. Yeah, but you're saving 40, you know? Mm-hmm. I'd be much more willing to see more movies than that, you know? And I'll fully admit here, I download a lot of things. BitTorrent is fucking awesome. And movie piracy, they keep talking about, like, well, how do we get people to stop doing that and whatever? Fucking ticket prices.
It's true, because take a look at music. They still have streaming issues and illegal download issues. But ever since they made it affordable via subscriptions or just made it a lot easier to access, piracy's gone down significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of the music comparison, you know, back when Napster, you know, around 2000 when Napster was really going, I was using it, as millions of other people were. And now these days, you know, I know a lot of people do the 99 cent per track, but I'm not even going to do that. I have a Spotify account. I pay for the premium. It's $10 a month, and I think it's the best deal in the world. You know, I love Spotify. If they had something like that for movies where you could have a subscription, like you guys were saying, like the $35 per month or whatever, I would consider seeing more movies. But as it is, but I thought it was weird that you said you could only see movies once. You know, once you saw it, you couldn't see that movie again on your subscription. Do you guys what's the last time you saw a movie more than once in the theater?
Avengers.
Same with me. Yeah, I saw Avengers 3 times, and I think Batman, the newest Batman, twice.
I've only seen one movie all fucking year, and I think it was Inside Out.
See, that's one of those I'll wait to download kind of things.
And I'm talking the first
movie.
Avengers, yeah.
I think the last time I paid to see a movie twice was The Amazing Spider-Man, and that's only because I went to see it in theaters opening night, and then I went on a date with, like, the drive-through movies. Like, the drive-in movies, not drive-through. It's like, I'll have that one movie, all right, here you go.
Very short movies.
And it was Ted and Amazing Spider-Man. So it was like, technically I went to pay to see it twice in theaters, but really, I mean, I was kind of spending, it was like $10 or something like that for the drive-in movie. I almost called it drive-through again. So really, I guess you could kind of justify it and say, well, I paid to see Ted and got that too, but I think that's it. And that was mostly because I wanted to go in for that experience, not because I was like, I need to go see Amazing Spider-Man again, because that movie's flawed. But I don't remember the last one that I went to see. I actually paid twice, maybe Terminator 3? Because I watched that 3 times in theaters, and the second time, I didn't pay the third time. I got in for free. But I went to see it a second time because I was just like, you know what? This movie could not have been as bad as I think that it was. And it is.
Are you planning on seeing Star Wars multiple times? Depending on how it is? Or
yeah,
I would say no matter how good or bad it is, I'm going to see it at least 3 times.
Well, I saw episode 2 like 5 or 6 times in theaters because I kept getting these free movie tickets from boxes of cereal. Like, I went to go see it, and then that movie watcher program, it was like, oh, you got a free movie ticket. And I was just like, all right, well, I'll go see fucking episode 2 again. And then it was like, I got a box of Honey Nut Cheerios, and there's a free movie ticket to Star Wars. Cool, I'll go see it. Oh, well, then I ate all that box of Cheerios, and now I got a thing of Lucky Charms, and it's a free movie ticket. All right, well, I'll go see Star Wars. Like, but I don't know. I'm certainly not going to go see it in IMAX all those times and spend like 30 fucking bucks a pop. We'll see. But have you guys, I guess this is sort of the last topic that we can talk about when it comes to this part 1. Have you guys ever signed up for anything when you get like the student discounts or like the gold ticket things where you buy a movie ticket and you could use it at any time for any movie? Any of those kind of things that they've done in the past?
Never heard of it, but that's probably because I'm from a different country.
Well, I'm from this country and I'm not familiar with it either, but I do. When I was a student,
so it's just Tony then. Fuck no.
When I was a student, it was nice, saving a buck or two with student ID. But
what about you, Dace? You ever do any of those?
No.
That sounded sad.
no.
Yeah, I mean, unless you count Netflix, that to me is no.
So we're all agreeing that Tony's just lying and it never existed.
Yeah,
which
he's
is
happy.
bad because I live like down the road from him. But I have a terrible memory, so this thing may be true. I have no idea.
He's just thinking Willy Wonka. He's got a golden ticket.
I've never bought a golden ticket thing or a silver ticket from AMC, but that's mostly because I'm just like, well, why do I need to buy a ticket ahead of time if I know that I'm going to go see a movie? I'll just buy it then. Like, I don't kind of see the point in that. But student discounts, I wish I could still get that shit. Kind of can't do that and just be like, here's my student ID from like 5 years ago or something.
I think one of our friends still gets it because he's a teacher at Rowan. I think he gets a discount.
I wonder if I can get a student or a teacher discount or something like that from my old student teaching days.
You might. He has a Rowan ID. It's the only thing that I know. He slips it everywhere we fucking go. It's kind of
We'll see about that. Leave your comments below, everybody. Tell us what you think about movie ticket prices, snack prices, all that kind of stuff that we went through here. Part 2, we're going to talk about different movie screen formats and stuff like that. If you are listening on iTunes or Stitcher, all you got to do is sit back, relax, and we'll be right back. And if you are on YouTube, then you got to just click on that next video, and we'll see you there. Welcome back, everybody. We are on part 2 of episode 22. Lots of 2s here. We're going to talk about the movie screen formats and different stuff like that. We broke down a lot of different stuff about movie tickets and why we do or don't go to see theaters and to see movies in theaters and stuff like that. Hey, want to go see that theater and stand outside and watch it? Yeah. Sweet building, huh? But one of the factors of not only the ticket prices, but maybe your motivation to go see movies is actually what type of movie you're going to go see. And now we've gotten to a point where you have a choice. It used to just be, I'll have one ticket for the newest whatever film, and that's it. Now you have to figure out not only what time, but you have to figure out, do you want it 3D? Do you want it in standard? Do you want it in IMAX? Do you want it real D 3D? Do you want it XD, extreme digital cinema? Do you want it fucking... there was a 4K one that was like separate or something like that. Lots of people have strong feelings about this. What do you guys think? Are you somebody that opts for standard, or do you go on the special stuff?
Well, I think for the perfect example would be Star Wars. We're considering IMAX. So, like, if it's a special occasion movie like that, I would pay the extra. I feel like comedies and stuff like that, why do I need to see them in 3D? It makes no sense. But when it's Marvel and stuff, it's really whatever Tony buys.
That's kind of true. The last movie that we went to go see, that was the... what was that? It wasn't Terminator, was it?
I missed that one. I was in Boston.
Whatever the last one was, I was handing out the movie tickets and stuff like that, and everybody was just like, well, what are they, 3D or were they not or whatever like that? And I was just like, yeah, they're the 3D ones because those are like the the ones at night and stuff. And Sam and I forget who else, somebody else was just like, oh man, like I forgot, like I brought my glasses instead of my contacts, so I have to wear my glasses, then put the glasses on top of it and stuff like that. But I don't know. I tend to always opt for the 3D unless it's something like they said about like a comedy. I'm not going to need to watch, fucking Dumb and Dumber 2 in 3D.
Or at all. But good.
Yeah. Well, I thankfully I didn't pay to go see that in the theaters because that movie was garbage. But even some of these action movies are kind of disappointing in 3D. Because I don't get much out of, like, seeing something fly to the screen. It's more so I want to see it in, like, the best resolution. So
well, the thing that bothers me about, I'm sorry,
no,
the thing that bothers me about 3D movies is I like 3D movies and occasionally I'll see them, but the glasses, it makes everything duller and darker, and I don't like that. The colors aren't as vibrant. Sometimes with 3D, I think it makes a big difference if it was actually filmed in 3D or whether it was one of those that they kind of retroactively, change. I don't know the exact technology, what it's called, but they, after the fact, go back and make it 3D.
Yeah, the 3D conversion.
Yeah, the conversion. It's a big difference in there. So I've seen some really good ones and some not so good ones. To me, if the price is the same, I'll usually go for the 3D if it's like you said, like an action or, like some kind of Marvel or something like that. But with Star Wars, I'm not seeing it in 3D if it's available in 3D. I just want to see just the straight experience. As far as IMAX goes, there aren't really any in my city. The closest one is just over an hour away. So I've never actually been to an IMAX theater.
Have you ever seen anything in an IMAX or just not like these type of movies?
Never.
You definitely have to go at some point. I've never seen like a movie in IMAX. I've only seen the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia had like, some kind of documentary about fucking dolphins or Mount Everest or something like that. And that is like awe-inspiring. Like if you can keep my attention with something about dolphins, just because I'm like, oh my God, the screen is friggin' huge. And it's like, it's very immersive. Like, the sound is like really crisp and stuff too, and if they said that the ticket price for the IMAX Star Wars was $50, I'm pretty sure I would still do it.
Well, I did see, I don't know if it was actually like a branded IMAX theater, but Cedar Point for a while, the amusement park on Lake Erie, had a theater that was, it was huge. It was the largest movie screen I've ever seen, and I think it was IMAX or like a precursor to that. The theater no longer exists there in the amusement park. But I also did see, speaking of 3D movies, I saw Michael Jackson's Captain EO at Walt Disney World when I was a kid. And that ran, I just looked it up, it ran from 86 through 96. And that was actually pretty cool. Probably one of the best 3D movies that I've seen.
I don't even know.
As far as Captain EO, you don't know Captain EO? The letter E, the letter O.
Okay, in case I couldn't spell it.
Well, it's basically
Captain EO. Is there like a Q and a 4?
Batman symbol. No, it's pretty good. I mean, it was very simple. It's not a very good movie, but the 3D effects were good. So it wasn't a good movie by itself. The 3D effects were cool. But as far as the IMAX, I'd love to go see, like when Jurassic Park, the newest one, came out, I was interested in seeing that one, and especially seeing it in like an IMAX or a larger theater. And didn't, and now the opportunity's gone, but that's okay. I'll see it eventually.
Wigo, what about you? If you go see the movies, I know you said that you only go like, once a year and stuff like that, but would you rather spend a little bit more to go see something in 3D or IMAX or something like that, or do you go for just the standard?
I don't know what the fuck IMAX is. I've heard about it, but never been.
Picture a dome where, like, you know, like a planetarium?
I know about.
Planetarium?
Yeah, I know off the South Park. That's about it.
But you know, like how that looks in South Park? I mean, it's, using a weird example, a fucking cartoon. It's that, but it's a movie. Like, it's kind of like sit and lay back a little bit, and the entire ceiling's this big friggin' dome that the movie's on.
You know what? It sounds cool, so I'd do it. I'd be interested in doing it just to have the experience once, but I can't really give a fair statement on that. As far as 3D movies go, I feel really underwhelmed by 3D movies. Like, I imagined it was going to be better when they first were talking about it, so to be quite honest, I'd rather not have to wear some fucking annoying glasses and just watch a standard movie.
Now, Dace, if you go for a 3D thing, do you know the difference between like the XD ones and the real D 3D? Because I can't freaking tell the difference.
Isn't it something to do with sound? I could have sworn like XD was a different sound or something. Like they tried to use different speakers or some shit. I don't know. it doesn't. You could put me in front of a movie screen. I'll just be like, yeah, that was good. I don't care.
Now, I know one thing that I saw just a regular 4K version of the new RoboCop film, not 3D, nothing like that, and that actually was like the best picture quality I've ever seen in a movie. That stood out to me as like, holy shit, this is so like crisp and every color is like popping. And I mean, I wear glasses if I like can't see at night and stuff like that. So if I go see a movie that's not 3D, I'll wear my glasses in there just to get like a little bit extra and stuff. And I felt like I didn't need to wear that at all because I could see better. Like that's how like cool that was. So I'd rather opt for that than even the 3D ones nowadays. But unfortunately, they don't seem to be doing that often. But it's pretty underwhelming. And the last movie that I saw was Mission Impossible. And I specifically was just like, you know what? Even if there is a 3D one, I'm not going to see it in that. Because I don't need to see, you know, a standard action movie like that. Like the more special effects, the more I want to see a 3D movie. And something like Tron Legacy was the first 3D movie that I ever saw. That was cool. Because that whole thing's fucking fake. So, you know, you kind of feel like you're like in the video game a little bit more and stuff. But
you know, it's going to sound odd. It's like the best use of 3D I've seen was in Jackass's 3D movie. Like, the wasps buzzing around your head and the shit falling on you. It was so fucking funny.
Well, what do you guys think about the idea that people are going to make this even more immersive in the future? Some people are saying that they want to make it where you can have like different smells that happen in theaters, or like your seats will shake, kind of like what they have at Disney World and stuff.
Wasn't one of the Rugrats movies Smell-O-Vision? Where Nickelodeon gave you like a scratch card before you went in, you had to scratch the numbers on the screen or something? Or maybe I'm just hallucinating.
I don't know what movie it was, but I know they've had that before with the scratch cards.
I'd be fine with them having smell as long as we all got to use Farnsworth's smelloscope.
See, I think that's crossing the line. Like, I want to see the best screen, but if I don't even like necessarily the idea of like Thor's throwing Mjolnir at me, no, he's not. He's throwing it at the fucking villain. But I definitely don't want to be like, oh, somebody just farted on screen and it smells like a fart in here. Ew.
Yeah, I'll pass on that. It's funny because it's other people are smelling it. It's not funny because you're smelling it.
Yeah. And you have to imagine that's what they're going to use it for more. It's not going to be like you go see Ratatouille and everything smells nice.
I hope they don't do another Terrence and Phillip.
Oh shit, I might see that if that was the case. And I don't want it, like my seat to jiggle and stuff too. Like if I wanted to go to an amusement park ride, I'd go to an amusement park.
Well, didn't they have long ago, it was a gimmick thing in theaters. I don't know if it was the 50s or when it was exactly, but there wasn't there one called the Tingler where they actually like hooked up like electric currents to some of the random seats in the theater, and then they'd like trigger them, and you know people would actually like get a shock through their seat, kind of swerved, but you know they get an electric shock in their seat, and so then they would scream, and that would get everyone else all excited, and you never know if you sat in the trick seat or.
That's terrible.
Yeah, isn't that awful?
Shit, I would be sitting there paranoid the whole time and not watching the movie. Yeah, fuck that.
I'd be up in the freaking where the projector is, beating the shit out of somebody if that happened to me.
Yeah,
like
sit on the floor.
And then just be stomping, like I would disrupt the movie for everybody.
Yeah, all that, and then they'd probably charge you like so much more for that too. Give us an extra $5 so we can shock your ass. Fuck you. Tell the real shock. The price of the goddamn popcorn. Any other thoughts you guys have on movie screens and stuff like that before we move on?
Nope.
Okie dokie, everybody. Part 2 in the bag. Part 1, go back and check if you didn't already, which I probably should have said at the beginning of this, but well, Part 3, click on that next video. Stay tuned on iTunes and Stitcher. We'll be right back to talk about something that's unfortunately going on. Do you feel safe at the movies? Welcome back. We're on Part 3 of episode 22, and unfortunately, here's a big topic we need to talk about when it comes to movies. do you even feel safe anymore going to the theaters? And that's not just about like your wallet and stuff like that we were talking about before, but fuck, what is going on with all these mass shootings that are happening?
To be honest, to me personally, I don't feel scared going into it. Mainly because every time I hear about a story, it's not anywhere close to us, which is weird.
Very true. Like, it keeps being like Midwest kind of areas and stuff. I mean, we had Aurora, Texas, Lafayette, Louisiana. You know, the most recent one was in Tennessee. So, like, it's not like, you know, the New Jersey crowd and stuff. But at the same time, like, why are these people targeting movie theaters?
You get a bunch of unarmed, unsuspecting people together in a room. I mean, maximum damage, I guess. I don't know.
Sounds very terroristy, Kalen. You want to talk?
I feel
did you look in your notes?
We have too many other, like, larger areas in our area, if that makes sense. Like, we have, like, Philadelphia, New York, D.C. So I think security around here is probably even more heightened so than it is out in Iowa.
Unless you're on the streets in Philly, then they're just like, just go kill each other.
Yeah, the inmates run Gotham anyway, so it's cool.
With me, it doesn't. I'm not scared at all to go. You know, it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I don't know the exact figures, but I imagine you're probably far more likely to die in a car accident on the way to the theater than to be the result of some kind of terrorist attack at a theater.
I think that's something like 1,000% more or something like that. Like, it's like no comparison at all. It's not kind of like the type of thing where, you know, do you go skydiving? Well, if something goes wrong, you're dead. Or do you go to the movie theaters and go, uh-oh, like, you know. But it's still kind of unsettling that this has been happening so many times. I mean, 3 major ones over the past 3 years.
You're not wrong. It's crazy white boys, man. Just walking into place and, with good movies. I don't get it. But like I said, it's hard to speak to since it hasn't happened on our area. I'm more nervous to go to a concert in Camden than go to a movie theater because I have to go through Camden to get to the waterfront.
Shit, I'm more nervous driving through Camden just at a stoplight than going to a movie theater.
You don't stop in Camden, man. That's the first lesson.
And, like, I don't go to Philly, like, at all, you know? Because that's just, you know, a shithole. But, like, I don't know. I mean, like, there's people that are trying to say that they should put up metal detectors in movie theaters now. I think that's going a little bit overboard. But you guys think that that's a good idea?
If you're that scared to go to the movie theater, then just don't go. Because it's really not that bad. There's a few bad eggs, but you'll find that with any situation. I live in fucking Michigan. I've just accepted that everyone's got a gun and could potentially shoot me, so...
It's funny because it's true.
I think, honestly, though, if, like, what's it going to do? If you really wanted to do something in a movie theater, metal detectors aren't going to stop you. You can find something else. Kill them with, like, the popcorn maker. I don't know. But even you still have problems at airports, even though they have those full body scanners and everything. So it's a knee-jerk reaction to an incident once a year. That's like saying
I'd like to go that way. Death through popcorn maker.
Yeah.
Be all
Shove
nice and
someone's
buttery.
head in there and turn it on. Yeah.
Or what you do is you just get that extra refill of popcorn, you throw it out, and you let the ducks come in and get everybody. Death
Like,
by duck attack.
mass duck attack at movie theaters. It started off great. We were all like, "Oh, look at these little ducks," and then all hell broke loose. But I don't feel unsafe at all at movie theaters, and you know, I don't look at the person next to me if it's somebody that I don't know. I mean, usually it is because we buy 20 tickets at a time and that kind of shit. But I have no problems whatsoever with that. I'll hang out in the lobby ahead of time. I'll talk to people in lines, because it's movies, But, like, not even the same as when it comes to, like, a stadium. Like, if I were to go to a Phillies game, I'd feel more at, like, risk.
Dude, I feel more nervous around Eagles fans that don't have weapons. They just get drunk and beat the fuck out of people for wearing different jerseys.
Or because the Eagles won or lost.
Yeah, they don't care. Half of them don't even make it to the actual game. They get arrested beforehand. So, like, there's a lot more threats out there than one lunatic once a year at a movie theater.
Gotta support the team.
Yeah. Oh, you're wearing blue? You must be a Cowboys fan. Beat him up.
You don't see that at movie theaters. It's not like, hey, buddy, you're gonna go see Avengers and you're wearing a DC shirt. Let's kill him.
Fuck that guy.
But I also don't get, like, what is targeting, what these people are specifically going to these movies for and targeting the people. Like, the last one was Trainwreck, I think. And it's like, what goes on through these people's minds where they go, first off, why do they gotta kill people?
Well, if the movie was a train wreck, they might be angry.
Oh, like,
Ba-dum-ts.
yeah. But, like, you know, the guy from Aurora, Texas, The Dark Knight Rises, he comes in wearing, like, military gear and starts shooting people and stuff. And as far as I know, I don't think that they've ever, like, said why he said that he did it, other than just being fucking crazy and an asshole. But, like, why would you go, like, man, I gotta find, like, I gotta go to this movie and I gotta shoot all these people. You know, all the people at Dark Knight Rises, they're gonna fucking die. Why? Like,
I think the problem is they're already unstable, and that just happens to be the venue they selected. Because you still hear about shootings like that every once in a while, like premeditated attacks. Not to get into too many current events, but I mean, you had the guy that just walked into a church and did it there, and then you had the guy that went down to like the Virginia Tech campus and just did it there. It's just really that's where I'm heading. I got in the car and I drove.
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of they're nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know,
they're unstable to begin with. The one in Colorado, didn't he think he was like the Joker or something, or like at least that there was a slight connection to that? I don't even know. This is just me speaking out my ass. They're just unstable people that just, hey, this is what I'm going to do. There'll be at least 30 people there, so that's where I'm going to go.
Well, now he's got life in prison,
Yeah.
which he probably should have gotten the death penalty.
Yeah, I don't know how he missed that. Unless that's one of those pussy states.
That's Texas.
Oh. How?
Yeah, that's
No
what I'm like,
idea
what the
how
hell?
we got out of that then.
I think it's Texas, or maybe it's wait.
Could be
Double check
Colorado.
this.
Isn't it where they're all stoned?
It is Colorado. You're right. Oh, that explains a little bit more because Texas would have killed him immediately, but
I don't think he would have had a trial.
probably. James Holmes is the guy's name. Called 12 people wounded 70 more for fucking no reason. I don't get it at all. But I don't know. What do you guys think that they could do if this is like an issue that keeps happening? Is there a way that they can kind of counteract that, or is it just sort of you're taking the risk and that's it?
I think you're just screwed because there's no way to either you do ridiculous security across all the movie theaters, which deters people from going, or you just say, hey, it happens once in one theater out of 5,000 once a year. So I don't know how they would overcome this.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's just one of those things as far as a movie patron. Like I said, it doesn't bother me. And it's, a very, very small risk that I'm taking when I'm going out. As far as preventing it altogether, you can't prevent violence. If people want to hurt a bunch of people, they're going to find one way to do it. If it's not at a movie theater, it'll be at a sporting event or some kind of rally or something. It's just
Walmart or something.
It's a sad fact. Exactly. And you're not going to close Walmart. So it's a sad fact of life. But, occasionally crazy shit happens.
Well, let's end this off on a much more better topic instead of being all depressed and stuff like that. What's the next movie that you guys are planning on seeing in theaters?
I guess Star Wars or whatever Tony buys the tickets for.
So I was just going to buy a random ticket for something and be like, Days, go see this. You're
Remember
like,
when
oh,
you said
shit.
you say yes? Oh, yeah. Why would I tell you no? Okay. let's go.
You're like, oh, man, why am I going to see Ricky in the Flash? Fuck that movie. I'd sooner spend $15 on Fantastic Four than that garbage.
Did you see it?
Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, good.
No, I'm debating whether or not I should go to see that. It's like...
I would go if I'm off this week. I know you said you don't like to do the whole daytime thing, but I would pay $5 to go see it early.
Maybe like Tuesday.
Yeah, that'll work.
We'll do like a $6 ticket thing and laugh the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I kind of imagine that this would sort of be the same as when I went to go see Snakes on a Plane. Because I was just like, you know what, I'm not spending money to see this fucking movie. And eventually, during the day, people convinced me. And it was, I don't know, like a week after the movie came out or something like that. And nobody had a problem with people laughing and talking during the movie. Mm-hmm. Everybody was there to just be like, this is fucking garbage. Let's just have fun, you know?
The early reports say it only made $23 million, didn't it?
Yeah, they were hoping that it would make 50, and then they were crossing their fingers that maybe they could pull out 30, and now it looks like that they didn't even make 30. They are fucked. It cost them $120 million to make without marketing. So they are going to struggle to lose money on this.
Yeah, I can't believe... Jesus. And then, are they still doing the second? Like, have they gone, all right, you guys win?
Latest buzz that I've been hearing is that the time frame that they planned on doing a Fantastic Four 2, that they're going to give to Deadpool. The sequel to Deadpool.
That's smart. Just Fox can keep the X-Men universe. It has too much shit going on in that world for Marvel to tie into their 80,000 movies.
What about you, Ego? What's the next movie you think you might see?
I have not heard of one movie that I give a fuck about other than Star Wars, so it's Star Wars for me until I hear about anything.
No thoughts on something like The Martian, or you don't watch like Hunger Games?
Oh, of course.
No, I forgot about Hunger Games, but to be quite honest, the last movie left a bad taste in my mouth.
That's probably because it was only the first half of a movie. They were just kind of like, you know what, this stuff's happening. It's happening. It's happening. And part 2.
I thought it was the first half of a movie chopped plus all the footage, which they normally chop out of the movie.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. I was a little bit pissed after that, but that's another one of those kind of things where it's like, well, I saw part 1, or I saw the first movie at like home, and I was like, yeah, it's actually pretty good. I'll go see the second one when it comes out in a couple weeks. Went to go see it in theaters. That's pretty good. I'll go see the rest of the movies. And now, by default, I like have to watch, you know, Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2 in the movies. Just kind of like... Thankfully, I didn't do that with the fucking Hobbits. Because those sucked. Fucking boring-ass movies. Kayla, what about you? What's the next movie you think you might see? Is it Star Wars 2?
That would be Star Wars, followed by Star Wars again a couple more times. Yeah, between now and then, there's not a whole lot that I'm thinking is going to be really worth my time and money. So there's a couple of things coming out that I am interested in, though. You had mentioned it before, the Straight Outta Compton movie. I'm interested to see that. I'm not going to go to the theater and see it, but if it happens to pop up on Netflix next year or something, I'll watch it. Also, the Agent 47, based on the Hitman video game series, I'd like to see that, but not really sure if I'm going to pay money to see it in the theater. But definitely Star Wars, without a doubt. They, shut up and take my money, basically.
I like how that's the philosophy that most people have when it comes to Star Wars, too. Like, all the stuff we talk about in this episode gets ruled out with Star Wars. You could tell somebody that there's, like, a 1 in 10 chance that there could be a shooting in Star Wars, and people will be like, yeah, it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think early projections right now for Star Wars, last time I checked, they said it'll make $1.5 billion overseas and $1 billion to $1.5 billion in America. Which is like $3 fucking billion.
I wish they would
without even factoring in DVDs, video on demand. Like, VOD sales aren't really too much, but like,
just think about all the shit they're gonna market based off that movie too, especially now that fucking Disney's behind them.
Yeah, the friggin' costumes and t-shirts and toys and video games and
the Mickey Mouse spin-offs and Jesus Christ.
They'll just be like, here you go, here's lightsabers and here's a fucking Yoda mask, and oh my god, they are gonna make so much fucking money, it's ridiculous.
It's not even justified.
No, it's pretty like... I was looking at that number, though, and thinking about that, and I was just like, this almost makes me mad. Because it's like, if I had, like $20 is a lot of money to me. Just because how little money that I make. And they're looking at this, and it's like, if they lost $100 million in this like range, they'd be like, meh. It's like, well, we only made like 5 billion instead of 4.5. We made 4.5 billion instead of 5 billion. That's that's okay. Like shit, dude. There's countries that don't have that much money. It's crazy, but you're gonna get my money, But something like Trainwreck or Selfless or Scorch Trials, like I'm not gonna pay to go see that. I wish I could support a lot more of these movies, but going back to the movie ticket prices, if I went to go see all of these 22 movies that I wanted to see for this, imagine the fucking money that I'd end up spending. That alone, just on ticket prices, I'd spend $330 in a year on movies. Not buying any popcorn, not buying any, like, bunch of crunch or something like that to mix in with their swim it in butter. We were more of a Milk Duds kind of guy.
I definitely not snow caps. That shit melts, and then your hands look like you've pooped on them.
You gotta go Bunch crunch, man. I'm telling you, that's the best.
I'm a Milk Duds person. I like sticking a bunch of them in my mouth and then realizing my jaw hurts like 2 minutes later.
Just like
pretty much just got like this giant wad of fucking chocolate and toffee in your mouth.
So what do you think about this movie? I'm sorry. Okie dokie. All right, well, that rules us out for this podcast about, movie theaters and all that kind of stuff in general. Leave your comments below. Tell us what you think. What movies are you going to see next? What movies have you skipped out on? What are the reasons why? What happens when it comes to these mass shootings and stuff? If you think that there's a way that we can get around that. And what movie types do you like to see? Do you opt for the 3D, or is it just a little bit too much money for you to spend? Last thing we have to do is to plug some stuff here, so let's go around the table one more time and throw out some projects that we're working on. Wago, you're first.
Just go to StephenWago.com to find all my ongoings. Bada bing, bada boom.
Boom. All right, Kalen.
You can follow me on Twitter at Kalen Ferris for all my ongoings and goings on.
And Daceman.
Check out the Daceman Show Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern on megapowersradio.com, and listen closely this week for an announcement, because yours truly is going to actually try stand-up.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Dick jokes.
Well, the trick to it is to stop sitting down.
Yes. That's half the struggle. You have no idea.
Fuck that. It seems like too much work.
I'll roll a chair out on stage.
I'm going to try some lay-down comedy. Well, thank you, everybody on the panel, for participating in this discussion. Thank you out there for listening. Stay tuned for the next edition of the group meeting, which is kind of going to be coming up in September. Not quite sure what that is going to be about, but if you have any suggestions, leave comments about that below. Also, stay tuned for the next For Real Movie Club that we have going on this month, and whatever review points that we have. If Dace and I decide that we're going to plunk the money towards Fantastic Four, we'll do a review point. We'll probably bash the shit out of the film. But
we'll do it during the movie, so we'll do it live.
I'm pretty sure nobody would complain. They'd probably find that more entertaining.
Yes.
Man, I wish we could do that, too. Just have that in the background and just go, that was fucking dumb. Do live fan tracks.
Where is the Thing's dick? It doesn't make any sense!
He's the Thing. He's missing his thing. On behalf of not just myself, but everybody on the panel for this evening, we're all fanboys here, so we will be back when we're back. This meeting is adjourned. See you next time, everybody.